Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. This is another episode of the Humanitarians of Africa series, where we have been sharing the stories of African nonprofit founders and social enterprise owners from all across Africa. Today, I have another guest from Uganda. Her name is Rebecca, and she's here to share the story of her social enterprise. So this is the social enterprise series where you're going to be hearing different stories of selected founders in Africa that run amazing social enterprises. So Rebecca, welcome, and thank you so much for agreeing to share your story with us today.
Thank you so much.
All right, great, Rebecca. So, Rebecca, can you introduce yourself to us? Who is Rebecca? What does she do? And tell us about your enterprise.
I'm Aime Rebecca, and I'm the founder of Patapia. Patapia is a social enterprise which supports refugee women to become self-sustainable, and we do this through training refugees, give them the skill for business startup, then we finance them so that they can be able to start their own businesses.
Wonderful, wonderful. So why did you decide to focus on refugee women? Is there a story behind the particular focus? In fact, this is the first time I'm interviewing someone whose focus is on refugees. So why refugees?
Yeah, we decided because of my own experience being a refugee. I came in Uganda in 2010 as a refugee from DRC Congo.
Yeah.
And when I reached Uganda, it was challenging for us to start life. Considering that we had ran the war, we didn't have anything with us. And reaching Uganda, we had to sleep on the street, pick up food from different markets so that we can just get what to eat. And later on, we got a church which hosts us, and we are staying in church with my family. But I was 12 years, and I had a dream to become a lawyer. I wanted to go to school. At this point, my mom couldn't afford taking us to school. But she tried to look for something she could do. Then she didn't have, since she was a businesswoman back home, she didn't have the capital to start a business. And that's the only thing she could do since she couldn't get a job. And later on, she just tried to work as a house help so that she can take us to school. And because she was not used to this kind of job, she only worked for 3 months, then she got a back problem. I was the eldest at that point. I had to step in and see how to treat my mom who had got paralyzed and even provide for my family. I had to drop out of school when I was 13. Then I started also looking for something to do. Since I was young, I didn't have any connection. Then it was hard for me to get something to do. And I only needed like $20 to start a business, but I didn't have access. People asking them the opportunity to give me. When I talked to her, she was like, okay, here, you can be picking them, sell them. With this, I had to try and now start working. That's when my suffering started the most. I became a worker. When I became a worker, I could pick products. It was challenging since I was young, moving around. And now this woman told me, you know what, you shouldn't stop moving around in town. You should start going in the villages, that where there is many customers or clients for our products. I was 14 years old. I started moving around to different villages, different districts. And it exposed me to many dangerous situations since I was young. Because I had to move door to door to sell the product. The first experience, I went I had to sleep on the street because I went in the bus at night. Then when I reached the town, I couldn't get a lodge. I didn't know the place. I had to sleep with my product on the street. I started moving around. My first experience, I was raped. I passed to someone, man was there, who called me, you come and I buy something for my wife. When I went there, the man locked the door. That's the first day I was raped. It was challenging for me. I couldn't share with anyone. And I didn't know what to do, but I was that kind of risk job. I can't come back home. When I reached home, I told them I'm not working anymore, but I did tell them the reason. And I stayed home just for 1 week. We didn't have what to eat. My mom had a serious pain because she had to take painkillers to go to the hospital like at least once a week. And now we didn't have money to do all that. She could sleep in pain, crying. And I was like, okay, I cannot take this again. I decided again to go back and do the same business again, to still going to the villages. Still, after 1 year and 2 months, I went again to another village. I was raped by a group of gangs. And when they were raping me, they were talking on, they wanted to finish and kill me. Because, in the village, there is, houses are not together. Like, it's far you need to move a long distance to reach where a house is. But there was a group of people who were going to fetch water at the well. When they had them, they ran. And when they ran, they went with the product I had. And remember, these products were not mine. It was really tough. I was taken to the hospital by those people who came, who helped me. Then that time, of course, it was many group. I was saying, I was doing this business hoping that I would get some capital to do my own business, which is safe for me. But because of a lot of expenses, a lot of things on my head home, then I couldn't save any money, and I was paid small amount. I survived to die this time. I told myself this is not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to die just because of that. Lucky enough, in the same point, because I could sleep crying, I didn't know. I wanted to commit suicide because I thought maybe it was the best thing I could do for myself. But because of my mom, I'd seen what my mom had gone through to raise us, it made me strong again, and I had to stay or to live because of my family. I got the opportunity where I had people there giving out scholarship to people who wanted to study. Although I was working, but my dream, I knew one day I would study and become a lawyer. When I heard of the scholarship, I applied. Lucky enough, I got the scholarship.
Wonderful.
But for me, I knew I was going to study to become a lawyer. I didn't know the language. I didn't know English. Like, as you know, a child who didn't go to school. When I reached there, I was most of the time not understanding what they were saying because they were using English, and I just knew small English. And then, me who thought I was going to learn to study so that I can become a lawyer, I started hearing about entrepreneurship. It was my first time to hear a word entrepreneurship. I was like, okay, people, you need to work on changing the community you're from. You first check the community you're from. What is that thing you are from? It gave me to think again of my life, to see what my mom had gone through. If my mother had got capital, and she wouldn't be paralyzed. I would go to school. If me myself had got capital to do my business, then I would do better. Maybe I would do business and I wouldn't go through the situation I went through. It pushed me a lot to talk with more refugees who are around and understand the problem they are going through. And most of them were going through the same challenges, whereby they were finding it hard to provide or to sustain their families because they don't have access to capital. They are not considered by financial institutions since they are refugees. With this, it pushed me to think of starting so that I can be able to support refugees, my fellow refugees, to get access to the knowledge which can lead them to sustain themselves and their families.
Rebecca, you have an amazing story, and I'm so emotional right now. And I want to say from the depth of my heart, I'm really sorry for the experience that you went through. And when I think about it, I feel like there was light at the end of the tunnel. God took you through that experience for you to be able to help other women like you so they don't have the same experience. And I believe that you are doing a great job already, empowering women and supporting them. And even if you're not a lawyer today, you're still advocating for a lot of women who rely on you and look up to you. And I want to say, well done. You are amazingly super strong. You are the definition of what we call a superwoman today. Well done. Well done. So tell us about Patapia. What have you done so far? And what's the impact like? How have you been able to help these women, or how are you helping the women that you come across?
Yeah, Patapia was founded in beginning of 2020, and we didn't have enough capital or enough money to finance them and enough resources to train them. But from that time, we thank God, we have been able to train more than 900 women.
Wow.
And we have financed 780 women who have started their businesses, who are running fully their businesses, and now they are able to provide for their families. Like now we have a woman called the Shekina. She was just washing clothes for people because she's a single mother. She had 5 children. She didn't have a way of taking care of them. When she heard about Patapia, she came, she joined. She was trained on how she can start her own businesses. Then we financed her with 300 USD. She started a business of rearing chicken, and from that time up to now, she has able to take her children to school who are not studying. The children now they are looking healthy and they are fine. She has bought a land. She has bought a land where she has built her own place where she's chicken. And this is the kind of impact we want to see in refugees who are going through the same challenges.
Wonderful. That's amazing. From being someone who rents an apartment to being a homeowner and even sending your children to school. That's amazing impact. So how exactly do you identify these women and prioritize the needs of the refugees? Because everyone needs help, and each and every one of them need help in specific areas. So how do you identify the women and then begin to prioritize to say, okay, you belong to this program, you belong to that program? Walk us through the process. How does that work?
We got, as I said, since I'm a refugee, that means I'm in the refugees community. We get refugees. For now, we are not able to advertise because there are many who need our support. And we cannot work on all of them because we don't have enough resources. But we get refugees from different communities, and now just people from the people who have been supported, from people who have got support from Patapia and who have changed their life from Patapia are the ones who are still sending their people from their community. And when they come, we first have to listen to their stories, what they have gone through, how that they want to see themselves, what that they want to do. And with this, then when they come like that, they have to create a group. They come in the group of 5 or 5 up to 10. And since these women don't give out collateral, that we don't have any way we can ensure they'll pay back, they come as a group from the same community. Then they sign, they become a guarantor to each one. They go through the training together as a group. We give the finance to that group, but in individuals, and we give them mentors who support them to identify which kind of business from, how will it help them to grow, how is it connected with their passion. Then we can see the best way of supporting them and training them with our mentors. Then they are able to be supported.
Wonderful, wonderful, great work. So, looking at the work that you've been doing so far and your own personal experience, what challenges do you face having to work with this group of people? So trying to help these people, what challenges have you encountered or are you encountering apart from funding? Because every social enterprise or non-profit has an issue of support and funding. But what other issues beyond that are you facing?
Some of the issue we are finding is this group of people we are working with, they are used of getting free things. They are used of getting free things, not even getting free things because they don't receive, but they think with this name they have or this status of being a refugee, then they should receive most of things freely. Yeah, and this some of the challenge we need to deal with when they have just come to change their mindset. And they have got many free things, but they are not sustainable, or they don't sustain them. And in this time, we need part where if there is something I would really ask to change, even from other organization or other, it's to instead of giving out, I'll tell them, okay, and another person comes and teaches you how to go and fish yourself. What you feel it's better for you to get. And with this, I feel like we need to have this mindset. Instead of fishing for them, giving them fish every day, we should teach them how to fish themselves. Yeah, how to fish themselves so that they can be able to sustain their souls. Because now if we look at refugees here in Uganda, they are not supported because the donors are tired, or the donors are tired, or there is not enough funds which can be able to support them. But if they get this opportunity where they will work for themselves, improve themselves, it can help them more and sustain them more.
Wonderful. Talking about solutions, how do you think the refugee system, especially in Uganda where you're based, how do you think the system can be more inclusive and can be better and more effective for people? Because all over the world, there are lots of unstable countries and people keep moving and looking for where to settle. So how do you think the system can be made better in Uganda?
The way I feel is first of all, the system, they should understand. Okay, when I say they should, I'm saying the governments, this big organization, that refugees themselves knows better what they are going through. Like when we look, most of organizations here are not for, the big organizations are not for refugees, and they don't understand better in which way, in which way they can support these people, because they don't have the experience. Because when we look at many organizations, what they do, they look at resettle refugees. Of course, they will resettle, but they can resettle 1%. And the other ones, what happens? When we look at others, they just train them skills, that we are giving refugees skills. Give them the skills, so what? When they get skills, what will happen? I would call upon all the organization or even governments, organization in charge of refugees, to really see how they can support refugee-led organization or refugee-led businesses, because we understand better. We have been there. Because when I talk, when we were starting Patapia, people are telling us, you know what, UNHCR tried to do this kind of business or this kind of support, whereby they were giving refugees money, they are lending refugees money to start businesses. But first of all, since it's UNHCR, people are receiving money and just disappearing, and even not paying back, and even not doing businesses. Instead of doing business, do other things. And but we have worked now with 3 years. For them, they are saying UNHCR did it, it didn't even last for a year. But we have worked it, we have done it up now 3 years, because we understand better the people we are dealing with and how we can be able to deal with. Yeah.
You're great. You're right. I mean, having the experience is very important, because that way you can relate to the problems of the people that you're trying to help. So it's good that big organizations work with the locals or someone who has had an experience to be able to educate them better, on how to help these people. So talking about the future, what are your plans for Patapia, and how do you see the organization in at least 5 years? What are your hopes and aspirations for the enterprise?
As a startup, sometimes we have the plans, then they change, we get other more plans according to how the business is moving. Like recently, we have been working on scaling to other refugee camps, and because we are looking at Patapia as a bank for refugees. But there is another plan which came in, or which we are working on, whereby we found that other refugees are not able to do businesses. Not everyone is there to do business. And our goal is to see refugees self-sustainable. And this we thought, or with talking with them, because for us, we look so much at what these people want, or what is their need. When we are talking to them, we came up that for these other refugees who cannot do businesses, then who can be good employees or can work well, but if they get something to provide for their families, we came up with idea of starting up a fashion. Since these refugees have skills, we come up with an idea of starting up a fashion brand, whereby these women will be making clothes for kids, and they sell them, do wholesale to big shops. and then some will have shops, others will be making them, others will be distributing them to different areas, so that they can be able also to provide for their families and earn something even without being the owners of the businesses.
That's a wonderful idea, and I would love to see how that pans out for Patapia in the future. That's a wonderful idea. So finally, are there any specific projects or programs you would like the support of the public for? This is the time for you to ask for support from the general public.
Yeah, as a startup, we have started, and as I've said, we have this other project we are thinking of implementing also, that we can support these other refugees who cannot start their own businesses. Requesting of individuals, donors, organizations, foundations, which can be there, willing to change lives of refugees, willing to support refugees, to stand up with us so that we can change the 5 million refugees who are here in Uganda, so that we can give them access to resources. Like now we need the machines which can be making those clothes. We need this support so that we can be able to change the lives of many. And if there is someone outside there who want to stand up with refugees, who want to change lives of refugees, then they can just contact us on our website, patapia.org. I'll be grateful, and the refugees who for that.
Okay, wonderful. So everyone, you have heard it from Rebecca. As usual, contact details are in the description box, and they are also right there on your screen. So feel free to please connect, support. You can volunteer your time, you can donate your funds. They need every support that you can offer at this time. Also, feel free to reach out to Rebecca if you're looking at partnership or sponsorship opportunities for the organization. So thank you so much, Rebecca, for sharing your story with me. This was an amazing time with you, and I'm glad that you got to share your story with the world today. Guys, finally, please share this video. There might be someone who would listen to her story, would be touched, and want to support the work that she's doing. So please, please, please share this video to as many people as possible. Looking forward to seeing you all in the next episode. Toodles!
Thank you.